In Borderlands 4, you can find a place called Idolator's Soul's Fortress. Here you'll find signs basically telling you to go away, but ignore them. If you keep moving into the swamp, you'll run into Wreck. He's a giant green orc joined by Burrow, and it's literally Shrek and Donkey. That is one of 25 movie Easter eggs in video games. Next up we have Hitman, which has a secret serial killer. In the third game's author mission, you're tasked with taking down Craig Black, who's a writer. One of his books can be found on a poster for his Cassandra Snow series, and if you thought he looked kind of familiar, wait until you head into the basement.
I'm in Italy, meeting Mr. Black. Yeah, I said I was going.
Yeah, that is Ghostface. And if you aren't convinced, you could even find a mid-phone call just like the movie.
I wouldn't call without a good reason, and oh, do I have a good reason.
In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, players who wander around the forest can find a skeleton on his broomstick stuck on a branch. Could be any witch or wizard, right? Well, take a closer look at the skull, and you'll spot a golden ball wedged in his mouth. It's a reference to Harry Potter catching the golden snitch during his first match of Quidditch. It's a pretty on-the-nose reference, just like in Adamfall. Because in the top right of the Casterfell Woods map, you can find 6 chairs surrounding an axe on a podium. Pretty odd, but take a closer look and you'll see it's actually been used to split a ring in 2. If you've watched Lord of the Rings, you'll immediately recognize this scene from the first one where they attempt to break it with an axe. Sometimes these Easter eggs make you work to find them, and that is definitely the case in Battlefield 6. The first step to unlock this is completing an achievement obtained by getting 250 sniper kills. Once you complete this task as Recon, you'll get the pop-up Stolz der Nation, which is a clever reference to the famous Tarantino film. In Inglourious Bastards, the characters create their own movie featuring an elite sniper who takes out exactly 250 enemies in 3 days. And what's the name of it? Stolz der Nation. Schedule 1 went viral this year for its hilarious drug mechanics that could do anything, from setting people on fire to making them lose hair. There's hundreds of different strains you could create by mixing different products, but one in particular has a crazy movie reference. If you mix enough ingredients, you'll eventually find the Tropic Thunder effect, but hand it to a customer and then...
Damn, that's pretty nice. Dude.
Yeah, completely changes their skin color, just like Robert Downey Jr.'s character. Another classic movie reference can be found in the brand new Dying Light the Beast game. In Pembroke, there's a small village with a couple houses, one of which has a locked garage. There's no way to enter, but if you search around nearby, you could find a loose vent that leads into the shed with the generator. So, take the cable and power up the garage to unlock the door, and now you could enter, revealing the Easter egg. Inside is a parked motorcycle, a legendary shotgun, and a note called Uninvited Guest. It reads, "This guy barges in midday, he is decked out in leather and carrying a shotgun. He just says motorcycle and presses the barrel up to my forehead, so I point over at the bike. He hops onto it with the kid, then he rode off. And one more thing, the big guy had an Austrian accent. If you haven't got it yet, it is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator."
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
A more recent movie reference can be found in Hitman 3. The Death in the Family mission takes place in an English manor where a grandfather has been murdered and the whole family are suspects. There's a private detective and all of the family members draw similarities to the Knives Out franchise. The story's the exact same and you have to investigate who did it, what the motives were, and even ends with the investigator giving a monologue.
Your niece, Emma Carlyle, murdered your brother Zachary.
My niece? Emma is not my niece. She's my daughter-in-law.
And your niece.
We see the donut hole has a hole in its center. It is not a donut hole, but a smaller donut with its own hole.
Now, what's so strange about this whole mission is that the devs claimed it was never intended to be an Easter egg and a complete coincidence. But that's only less convincing when you find a baseball in the garden, which is a tiny detail taken directly from Knives Out. So I think someone on the team was just a big fan of the film. Now, I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future, which is why I was so excited to find this Easter egg in Generation Zero. Aside from the evil robots roaming the world in this game, you could find a red barn on the island housing none other than the DeLorean time machine from the movies. Unfortunately, you can't get inside, but you can still turn it on. I just wish you couldn't activate this horrifying boss at Borderlands 4. Because at the Ripper Drill site in the Prospects region, you can find another mini-boss, this time Sydney Pointy Legs. It's a giant mechanized head on 4 robotic limbs. We could all agree this has awakened a childhood trauma in all of us. That is definitely Babyface from Toy Story. The reference goes even deeper though, because he's actually called Sydney for a reason. If you remember the first film, these abominable toys are all created by the evil Sid next door. Now, in a game like Cyberpunk 2077, where you have Keanu Reeves play a main character, it's pretty hard to not include references to his other movies, and the devs at CD Projekt Red couldn't resist. For example, if you watch the screens playing advertisements, one of them replicates the exact gun scene from The Matrix. But that's not all. If you use the one-handed press check reload, the whole animation is also taken from John Wick. And if you explore the swamplands in Stalker 2 far enough, you might just come across this tree. It looks pretty spooky, but fans of the wizarding world will immediately recognize it as the Whomping Willow from Harry Potter. Also, wedged right between the branches is a car that looks just like Ron Weasley's flying one. Over in Assassin's Creed Shadows, one of Nawe and Yasuke's attacks lets you launch enemies with a devastating kick. Pretty fun, but only gets multiplied when you boot someone from a height, granting you this achievement. That's right, it's a reference to the iconic scene from 300.
This is Sparta!
And while racing around on the Behind the Port map and trail out, you can take a detour to find containers in the shipping yard before this cutscene kicks in. Obviously, this is a reference to the second Jurassic Park, where they bring one back to the mainland and the exact same thing happens. Not the only scene recreation, because in Fallout New Vegas, if you have a perk equipped to spawn random events in your game, there's a good chance you'll run into these old ladies.
Lucky what we have here, ladies. Another unsuspecting pox.
As you're beaten with rolling pins by them, you're probably thinking these weird names has gotta be a reference. And you'd be right. These old ladies are actually inspired by Hell's Grannies from Monty Python. Fortnite added the Freaky Fields location for Halloween, but if you head inside the farmhouse, you'll come across a robot bursting out of the TV just like The Ring. Moving on to the northern mountains of GTA 5, there's a chance you'll spot some NPCs that only appear between 7 and 8 p.m. On top of the hill, you'll see a convertible and 2 police cars following from behind, and if you simply watch, the entire scene will unfold. This whole interaction is a recreation of the ending to the 1991 movie Thelma and Louise. In one of the northernmost parts of the Concord region of Fallout 4, if you explore the land carefully enough, you might just come across a body with a syringe in its chest. This female mannequin is actually portraying Mia from Pulp Fiction in the scene where she's resuscitated by plunging a syringe into her heart. The Talos principle reawaking gives us a brand new chapter from the first game called In the Beginning. And in the second test level, you could run along the wall and outside of the area to find a small opening with a strange door. If you're a fan of Monsters Inc., you'll immediately notice this is a door portal from the movie, and thanks to the flowers, we also know that this one specifically leads directly to Boo's bedroom. Elder Scrolls is known for its variety of Easter eggs, but thanks to the new Oblivion, you can now enter the first portal in Kvatch to find yourself surrounded by pools of lava. Approach the edge, and you can find a burned body crawling out of the magma, obviously a callback to Anakin in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. In LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2, there's a mission where you could walk away from the objective to the edge of the map. Here, you'll find a skeleton sitting on the edge with a golden ring. Obviously, it's another Lord of the Rings scene, this time from Return of the King.
Throw it in the fire!
Another brand new Easter egg in Dying Like the Beast is from a classic Tom Hanks movie. Because in the lake south of the Vale, you can find a small island where someone looks to be surviving. There's a raft and a makeshift tent here, and if you put all the pieces together, this starts to feel like a Castaway reference. But it only gets more obvious when you spot the football here. It is Wilson. And in Zombie Army 4, you could find a ship sinking that literally had me stumped at first, but it's so obvious. Take a closer look at the boat and you'll spot two skeletons on the front holding out their arms, and yes, it's a recreation of the iconic scene from Titanic. In The Witcher 3, you can head into this basement in Velen and you'll hear two guards talking.
Well, bring out the gimp.
Think the gimp's sleeping.
Well, guess you'll just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
Anyone who's seen Pulp Fiction will immediately do a double take because this interaction is ripped straight from the movie.
Bring out the gimp. Think the gimp's sleeping. Well, I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
In Battlefield 1's They Shall Not Pass DLC, you can load into the Verdun Heights map and find a bunch of wine bottles just lying around. So, you have to destroy all 3 of them, and then move on to shooting 3 of the weather vanes on the roofs in the village. It's a complicated process, but now you'll see the floating house from the movie Up. And that's just 25 movie Easter eggs in video games. If you haven't already subscribed, it's been Tommy, and keep it here on T5G.